Hey all! Welcome to another episode of the Best Friends Discuss podcast. I'm your host Mike with my co-host
Brad,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
And today we are gonna kind of do. It's like headlines, but we're kind of getting more into the topics and chatting about them a little bit more. So it's like relevant news, I would say, is more than anything. You just want to click the picture. There you go, Brad.
I messed up.
So we have a total of like 5 things to talk about. 2 of them Brad brought up, 2 of them I brought up, and then one of them was a collective, like, we are just super fucking interested in it. So that's pretty much it. The glare from this makes it look like I have sunglasses from far away. Doesn't it on the bottom screen?
Yeah.
A little bit. So anyway, Brad, you go first on what you want to talk about.
Yeah, sure. Why not? We know that there's a bunch of Elon Musk fanboys out there.
Hey, beers with the boys, am I right?
But he has been wrecking havoc with me lately, as some people know.
Yeah, you guys aren't on speaking terms, right?
No, not right now. I'm a bit of a gambler, which is what led me to Vegas a lot. And then eventually going into the stock market.
Wait, are you a smoker? Are you a toker?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Or I guess it's a midnight toker.
And recently I started getting into crypto.
Yes.
And Elon Musk has been screwing me over royally.
Ballpark, do you have a figure of how much you're screwed over?
I've lost
Like, I don't want you to get like specific numbers.
a couple grand.
Okay. I don't want the IRS to use this as a as evidence.
I mean, until I sell it, it's not actually for them to do anything with.
That's fair.
That's fair.
You have a chance. Get Elon Musk on the phone and tell him to make Dogecoin profitable again.
Dogecoin is garbage. Everyone knows it. It's a meme for a reason. But he came out recently with a tweet that he did. And he came out and said, Tesla has suspended vehicle purchases using Bitcoin. We are concerned about rapidly increasing use of fossil fuels for Bitcoin mining and transactions, especially coal, which is the worst emission of any fuel. Cryptocurrency is a good idea on many levels, and we believe it has a promising future, but this cannot come at a great cost to the environment. Tesla will not be selling any Bitcoin as we intend to use it for transactions as soon as mining transitions to more sustainable energy. We're also looking at other cryptocurrencies that use less than 1% of Bitcoin's energy transaction. I have a different viewpoint on this than some other people do.
I have no idea about any of these cryptocurrencies.
So, crypto came out, well over a decade ago.
Yeah.
And it has gained in prominence. Bitcoin being the number one, it was first in. So it has the most notoriety. It has the most value also, and most people trust it. It's decentralized, so it's not based off of any banking system right now. And it's technically, what do they call it? I want to say it's a deflationary currency because it can't go down in price.
Okay.
Really.
You answered my question.
And the reason for that is there's a limited supply. So there's 21 million or whatever Bitcoin that are out there, and no more can really be created. So you can still mine some out there, but there will be a point, and I think it's gauged in 100 years, where all Bitcoin will be mined, and then everything that's out in the market is out in the market. You cannot create any more. And that's the difference with Dogecoin, where they can continually just make more, so it's closer to US dollars, which is why the US dollar completely has super inflation. Yes, Mike.
I have a question.
Yes.
So mining, arbitrary term, I'm just thinking of someone with a pickaxe digging for gold.
Yeah.
That's not essentially what they're doing. It's more techno babble for computers.
Yes, it is.
But what so let me ask you this. Is Bitcoin a made up currency? Just altogether made up?
Yes, but technically so is all currency nowadays.
Right, but like at least with like a dollar bill is physical. So basically, what I'm asking,
Actually, most of your dollars, to be honest, most money isn't physical anyways. Like there's if everybody in the US right now went to the bank and said, "I want all my money out." There's not enough money
wouldn't-
in the world
yeah,
to,
they wouldn't supply them.
yeah, they can't supply it. It's all digital, which is why we all use credit cards, debit cards,
Right.
transactional like electronic ledgers, like for loans, stuff like that. That's why most companies want to do direct deposit,
Right.
because there actually isn't that much money.
Right, because like in America, we print our own currency and we recycle, or we I guess recycle our money, and we decommission some of the dollar bills
Yes.
and stuff like that, right? But like Bitcoin, is there actually a coin currency, or again, is it all just a digital currency?
No, it's all digital.
So that's why I'm saying of it being physical. Like,
No, there isn't something like truly physical
Right.
of that out there.
so
But I don't think that's what diminishes a value.
Right, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm just asking, like, so, like, how could someone? So, a few questions. How can you go about mining?
So
And-
unfortunately, I can't go super deep into that. So I can't say I'm a expert in this. I have only dabbled the last couple of years. I've started to pay a little bit more attention, but I do not know the intricacies of mining. If
Right.
I did, I'd have a mining machine right here.
I mean, I see, and that's the thing is like you said that Bitcoin, you can there's a certain like limit, and eventually you can like
We'll
get
cap out. Yeah.
will cap out. But like what is like how I don't understand the process of mining. Like is it just a little pixelated guy going around, and it's just like
It's Dig Dug.
a loading bar? Yeah, like so I just that's what always trips me about cryptocurrency.
It's honestly
is
what
that
trips up a lot of people, and it's why a lot of people don't actually trust it.
I know it takes a lot of time and effort and power to mine.
It does take a lot of power to mine, and that's the concerning part with Elon Musk's tweet here, except for there's been a few studies, and there's one study, it says 39%. The other study says like 78% is done with renewable energy already. And that makes sense, especially when they're talking renewable energy. They're not talking wind and solar, because let's be honest, those are not reliable. But we have some different mining in like this area. So Western United States and that, and then Texas is another big one that has it, hydroelectric power.
Mm-hmm.
And most of our power in this area is hydroelectric. So it cannot get down compared to like if you have wind turbines and there's no wind, you can't spin those turbines. If you have a cloudy day or it's nighttime, you can't get solar power. Water from a river is generally always rolling.
It's constant.
Yeah. So a lot of miners are actually using energy sources that are like a consistent energy base. So they use those renewables.
So they can
like,
do 24/7.
Yeah, like hydroelectric. Now, there are some other ones that are using like coal, because as long as you're just burning coal, yes, you can get constant energy. The funny thing about his tweet, it is the one thing, let's just point this out here. Tesla will not be selling any Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
They're not losing their transactional period. Now, he sent out a tweet after that where it's cryptic and people are thinking he may be selling, but he's holding on to this. There's a huge amount of this happens everywhere. It happens in stocks and stuff like that, where it's one of those ways that the rich can get richer.
Mm-hmm.
Is you make like a company look bad and then you short sell it, like they tried to do with GameStop, and they just make a ton of money by just devaluing the stock. Once it goes down, they buy the dip, and then they bring it back up.
They short the stack.
I think Elon's doing that.
Ooh, shame on you, Elon. Also, shame on you, Eli.
Yeah.
You know who you are.
I think that's actually the bigger.
So then,
I don't know that for sure. This is my own personal conspiracy, but
So then,
I think he's using it to make more money.
so if say you had Bitcoin, say you had quite a bit, is that the opportunity to sell if you think that's what he's going towards?
No,
or
buy.
buy more.
Buy
Okay.
as it drops down. But the problem is the average person that has only $300 and they threw it in, they're like, oh, maybe I can make some. Crypto's going up. And then they lose like half of it. They're like, oh, God, I can't lose all my money. And so they sell. They sell at half a loss. But then larger corporations,
That's like 150.
rich people will buy up that currency and then hold on to it. And then it's just going to raise up. When you look at the past of like Bitcoin, there was a point when it hit like 27,000 and people were like, oh my God, people were mortgaging houses, stuff like that. And it dropped back down to 7K. People freaked out. They lost homes. They like sold really quickly, but they mortgaged their houses for it. They lost everything. If they just held on to it, it went up to 60,000. It's now up to 43. So even if they sold now, they're still making from 27K up to 43. That's a ton of money they would have made. But people get scared.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where I don't get cryptocurrency. I feel like it's a made up thing that people are putting an arbitrary amount to. Like Dogecoin. Hey,
Dogecoin is made up.
well, right,
And
it is made up.
arbitrary.
But then you have so many people coming out with like when Bitcoin first came out, that's the only thing knew about it was it was called Bitcoin, and you heard nothing else about cryptocurrencies. There was nothing that I ever heard.
Now there's a ton.
Now there's a ton, like you were telling me about Ethereum, and I was like, that just sounds like a metal ore.
Yeah.
Like-
there's
like
another
are the-
one like Cardano. Now, the difference with like Cardano and Ethereum is they build apps off of it. So it's got a power base and something like tangible to it.
Those are just words to me.
I
That
know
means
they do.
nothing
I
to
know
me.
they are, Mike.
It's
I know they are.
like so like it's basically like almost in like Fallout where like a bottle cap, right?
That's their money.
That's their money. That's one. Here, you know what, Brad? I'll trade you this shiny bottle cap for your wireless headset over there.
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's pretty shiny. You can see through it.
No, I'm good. Thank you, bud.
Your loss. Can't wait for that to be $30,000.
So another reason people are going into crypto right now, though, is inflation. Because people don't have confidence, I guess, right now in like the American dollar, especially with how much money we've just been printing this last year, giving away unemployment benefits, stimulus checks. I mean, how much have we increased the debt? Like a goddamn huge amount. And on top of that, we shut down the economy.
Some would say a shit ton.
Yeah. And then we shut down the economy on top of that, so people aren't building stuff. We've just given people money so that they can just buy stuff. We all knew it was all going to come due. And we're starting to hit that point now.
Yeah,
And
thanks,
that's
Clinton.
why a lot of people have gone into crypto, is because they don't have confidence in the American dollar. That's part of the reason I have gone into crypto. I don't have confidence in the American dollar right now.
So do you think essentially the American dollar is going to kind of be what happened to Greece's currency?
Greece, Venezuela.
Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Back in, was it 2012 when their fucking market fucking plummeted and their currency was like worth like 61 cents to the American dollar or something like that?
I mean, yeah. You look at a
40
lot of
cents.
those different like areas. You know, you have Weimar, Germany, where they're using wheelbarrows worth of like cash just to buy like a loaf of bread. Same thing in Venezuela. I don't think we'll get quite to that level, but yeah, ours is absolutely downgrading, especially when you start seeing the rising cost of goods already.
So let me ask you this to try and put it in perspective. So like, you know, when you buy a book, right, and it says US dollar for this book is $19.99, right?
Yeah.
And then it says Canadian is $25.19, right? So essentially, if you were to buy that book, say online in Canada, it would be $25.19. But if you were to buy it in US, it would be $20 shipping and handling. Who fucking cares? But what you're saying is that if the American dollar is dipping, the price of that book will cost more. Right?
Relative. So it's a relativity type thing. So as prices start going up, we don't have as much money, or our money doesn't go as far.
Yeah.
So, God, it's kind of a hard thing to like
quantify.
Yeah, to quantify. But the biggest thing is like, so if you're making like $100, right? And every week you spend $50 worth of food, so then you got $50 to do whatever you want.
Sounds like
if
a Bill Cosby
food goes up 10%, now food costs $55. Now you have $45 instead of $50. You lost $5.
Yeah.
And that's basically what's going to start happening, except for we're looking at a larger like amount of decrease than that. There's some estimates up to 15% inflation period right now.
Wow. So that will also change with the fact of exchange rates, right? Like I don't know what the exchange rate for like US dollar to euros, but don't you get essentially more bang for your
Yes, it does, except for there's one bigger issue that's happening right now, and that's the fact that because we shuttered the economy for over a year because of this stupid pandemic that we should not have done this for.
What pandemic?
Every country is hitting this problem.
Right.
So everyone's currency is going to go down, and it's going to be to the point where people are like, oh, yeah, you need $15 an hour. By the end of this, we're probably going to need like $50 an hour.
Gotcha.
It also causes certain things to drastically jump up that were never up there before. Some that were, but it's because of holding power and the availability of them.
Kind of like what happened with lumber.
Yeah, but you've also got like an easy one is houses, right? Everybody values houses as having value because it's something tangible. It's something you can have. You can sell it later to somebody else.
Yeah, it holds equity.
Yeah. So it becomes very valuable. In an inflationary period, those things skyrocket. In our area, Mike, would you say our housing market has skyrocketed?
Yes, very much so.
Hugely.
Like I don't stress out about a lot of things, but that's one of the things that it's almost like a time thing where I'm only 25. I wish I had the capabilities and the forethought to make enough money to buy a house back when I was like 18.
Right.
Because that, no joke, it would double, if not triple, the price of that house in our area.
Yeah.
I mean, my grandma's house almost, what did I say? It almost doubled its price. Right? That I told you?
My parents' house is almost tripled.
Yeah.
They bought it at like $200K, which was a very nice house. In this area, $200K, and we're talking almost 2 decades ago.
Yeah.
That's a crap ton of money. That was a huge house. And they have a huge house. It's
they do have a
6-bedroom, like 3-4 bath.
2-story. Do they have a basement?
No.
Yeah, 2-story house.
Basements aren't very common in this area, though.
Yeah.
Especially her area.
Yeah, that's fair.
They're really actually very common where I live, though. Super common out here. But they bought it for like $200K. It's over $600 now. It's gone up 3 times the value.
Like, that's honestly something I worry about daily. I'm not even anywhere close to owning a house, but goddamn, I wish I could own a house because it's just smarter. Like, I really just want to skip the whole apartment phase.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't want to, especially even rent nowadays here are no joke. Like a single bedroom, single bath is about $750.
$700 to $900, yeah.
Yeah. And it honestly like worries me when I eventually have to find my own place. It honestly worries me that I am not gonna not necessarily like make it, but it's going to be such a fucking hassle and struggle that I really wish that the housing market, not necessarily it crashes, but I hope that it gets to more of a reasonable amount.
I do feel like we are going to see a crash.
Yeah, it will probably.
Especially with all this inflation that's kicking in. So I'm just going to put this over here. So this is
Your second thing.
Yeah. So, and it just leads straight into it, which is the inflationary. This is the consumer price index, and this is the cost of like different things going up. And so like this top chart here, this is the cost of goods. That's a straight shot up over this last 6 months because we shuttered the economy. Prices were going down. We were making an overabundance, which is why prices were super far down like last May. Especially when last May, that was about the start of us shutting things down, so nobody was buying anything. So all of the stuff that we had already just completely decimated like prices of stuff, you know, like milk's down to like $1 or whatever else. Just prices were down across the board. They slowly started to go up as we started to ease up. But now that we are completely easing up, you know, mask mandates are going away. You're starting to like open up businesses fully. People are needing things, and there isn't enough products out there. There's reports we're running out of cardboard, lumber, metals. Microchips are huge. Like you can't get microchips right now.
The new one I've heard is pool supplies.
Yeah.
Pool supplies you can't get because people got built-in pools or bought pools from their stimulus checks, and they can't afford to clean them.
Food's a huge one.
Yeah,
and nobody's reporting food right now. There's areas that can't get beef. There's areas that can't get chicken. Like completely out.
Where's the beef?
So these prices have just dramatically shot up, which becomes an issue when you have the government giving out checks and just free money for everybody. It's going to allow people to pay more, and it's going to shoot up the price even more, especially when nothing's being created, but the demand is so high, it's going to shoot prices up. This is 101 of supply and demand. When there's too much demand and not enough supply, prices shoot up.
Yeah.
Number one thing. And so the second chart down here shows you how much of an increase some of these things were. And it shows it over like the last couple of months here. And so you've got like all items and that, but go to like food. Back in October, it was a 0.2 increase, and then 0, 0.3, 0.1, 0.2, 0.1. This last month, 0.4. Big one, used cars, 10% increase right now.
Of people buying them?
Yes. The cost. Yeah, this is consumer price. So this is the cost has gone up.
So like the Kelly Blue Book, when it says,
yeah,
like if you were to do it back in October, it would have been like $1,000. But now that here in April
10,000.
of 2021, gotcha.
Yeah. Well, not 10,000, but
yeah,
if it's 10,000, now it's 11,000.
Yeah,
like it's jumped up 10% of an increase, and used cars has had a 21% increase. That is huge. And a lot of that is just right now, you can't find used cars because new cars, because they can't get the materials to build some of the new cars, especially microchips and that, there's a shortage. So people are having to go to used cars. Mm-hmm. And it is shooting this price up to an unbelievable rate that it's going to become almost impossible for me to buy my son like his first car without spending like as much as I spent on my new car.
Right. Yeah, at that point, you might as well just...
And a new car is also going to just keep jumping up.
Yeah.
But the problem with new cars is they're not going to have the materials to make them. So this is a huge problem that we're facing, and it's a big reason why
you know what
crypto has been such a big deal lately. Everybody's going towards it because nobody has faith in the American dollar because inflation is hitting all-time highs, huge record highs.
Yeah, I was about to say you should just buy a Tesla using Bitcoin.
Yeah,
but you can't.
I can't anymore. Thanks, Elon.
Go back to the chart. I have a question because I'm looking at the medical services. and I see that in April it hasn't raised at all. But I'm also seeing
You mean
in
0.3? Oh wait, that's apparel.
it's the last one, medical care services.
Gotcha.
And so looking across the board, and I see that it's like minus 0.3. So, and I see a couple of minuses down in the April column for energy, fuel, gas. I'm guessing those are all bad in the sense of
Like negatives?
yeah.
It just means price went down.
Oh, it's saying price went down?
Yeah, that's what a negative is.
Gotcha.
Price went down. Zeros, no change at all.
I don't know why I was thinking like especially since right now we're having a gas shortage. So like May, I'm guessing, is gonna fucking jump.
Oh yeah,
For gas.
especially with the Continental Pipeline that got hacked. Oh
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I don't
There's
know-
still gas stations that are out. Like 80% of gas stations are still out over in like DC area.
Yeah, so that I don't know why I was just thinking of
Hell, our gas raised. It's like $3.40 right now.
it's $4.
Ridiculous.
Or yeah, it is $3.40. But I don't know why I was thinking of like of demand, not price, adjustments.
See, and medical right now is in a huge bubble itself.
Right.
Partially because even though we're lifting restrictions, they're still not doing a lot of elective surgeries. Like at least not at the point that they were doing them a year ago.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just looking at some of these numbers and I'm like, huh, okay. It's amazing. If you look at March, let's see, what is that? March, and then it's a 9.1. What is that? Gasoline is at 9.1, and then from March to April, it drops to negative 1.4. That's
It's a huge drop.
Yeah, it's a steady drop pretty much throughout.
So I want people to notice something though. So this raise in gas though is partially manipulated.
How's it manipulated?
When did Biden get in? Right there.
Yeah.
What was his first order of business?
I don't know. He had so many.
Cancel the Keystone Pipeline.
Oh, yeah. That was one thing.
It automatically shot up
Everything.
gas for everything.
So then why did it normalize or go way down in April? But then again, in May, it's going to fucking jump like a mother.
So
Jump.
there were a few different instances of like gas specialization in April where we jumped up like production. You're also looking at April as it's starting to warm up. Refineries need heat to actually work.
Gotcha.
And that also helps because you need less energy to actually refine. You're actually available to like open up more refineries, and that's a big one that will like help that prospect out.
And also Easter. Easter's in April sometimes.
Yes, Easter.
that really caught you off guard. So, okay, yeah, I was just crunching the numbers, if you will.
But yeah, those two things I think play hand in hand though right now. Crypto and inflation.
And yeah, the economy. Interesting.
So myself, I'm still going to be buying crypto. Not any kind of financial advice, but that's what I am doing.
Yeah, I remember you were like, dude, I'm thinking about sinking like a few G's into crypto. I'm like,
I did.
oh, you did? Oh, yeah, that's right, you did. I was like, oh. But
yeah.
I was like, I don't know, man. It might be risky, but risk it for the biscuit, am I right?
Yeah.
So,
which I planned on. It was going to be a hold anyways. It's not like I was looking for like in a month to sell and make a bunch of money.
Yeah.
No, this was a long haul decision that I was facing, looking over, especially with inflation. I expect it to last a while.
So, again, I don't understand cryptocurrency. I remember working my first job back in 2014, and I had a regular customer. He was just a little kid. He was probably like 13,
Mm-hmm.
And he would come into my store and he would just chat with me because I was younger then, and he probably like looked up to me like a older brother kind of thing. And he was telling me like he had a satchel that carried a computer on it and stuff, or in it. And he was telling me that he was mining cryptocurrency. He was mining Bitcoin. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And he's like talking about how he has like $300 or 300 Bitcoins or whatever,
Good Lord.
or even more. I don't remember the whole amount. It may have been even just 30. And I was just like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, to be honest. And I just think about that now, that he's probably like, let's see, 2021, 2014. He's probably just turning like 20.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking like, God damn, he probably owns a mansion and a Ferrari. He's slapping the asses of some Beyonce looking chick. And I'm just like, God damn it. And I have a successful international podcast.
Yes, you do.
So, who made the right choices? I leave that up to everyone else.
Well, which one do you want to go into?
It doesn't matter. I'll talk about whatever. So this article I found, and
Even though it cuts off.
even though it cuts off because of stupid ads, I wonder if you refresh it if it would change it. But basically, what it's saying is that scientists have they were doing a study on people's brains, actually during an open brain surgery for one of them, and the scientists actually were able to track a thought moving around in people's brains. And I found that super interesting because all I can think of is there's so many doors that can open up for it. And if you actually scroll down, it will show you highlighted, or maybe, never mind, the highlight went away. Go back up, it's the second paragraph. But right here, so scientists were able to follow a thought as it moves through the brain, revealing the mechanisms of how our mind thinks and the processes involved therein. The study from 2018 assessed epilepsy patients who were undergoing surgery. Neuroscientists were able to track the trajectory of a thought through a patient's brain. And this just made me excited because, like, growing up, like, us guys, we, you, me, I, growing up, right? We would read those kind of books that, or magazines back in school where, it promised us flying cars and jetpacks and, that kind of stuff. Or even more so, like, being able to look into people's dreams, like having a dream project onto a TV. Like, that was the kind of future that I was promised. And here we are talking about fucking Bitcoin and Teslas and the price of milk. Yeah, I know. And so this just made me super excited because in my head, I thought it opened up a lot of doors for possibilities. Now, this is probably years upon years, even decades away from being anything substantial. But I was just thinking of the fact of what happens if you're able to track a thought. Can you predict people's patterns? Kind of like in like Minority Report, like
Ooh, that's a dangerous precedence to go down.
like committing a crime before the crime happens. I was also thinking of like a psychological standpoint. The people who are like serial killers or psychopaths. Can we track their thought process on how they go about, like, going like, hey, I'm gonna wake up in the morning, drink some OJ, and then murder someone, stab someone 87 times. Like, it just made me think of the potential that there could be for the instance of
You went super dark with like all of your thoughts, because my first thought on hearing this was Elon Musk is gonna love this for Neuralink.
yeah, I mean that too. Like
But you're just like going straight to like Minority Report, like just trying to find serial killers.
So the main thing that I was truly thinking, there's two other things that I was mainly thinking, but I brought those other two up first, was I was thinking about, people who use the like the defense of God talk to me, or Satan talk to me, or a demon talk to me, and they have to get like a psych report done on them before they can, see if their, mind is right for trial, kind of thing. So I'm thinking that maybe potentially it could just straight up wipe out that whole, like, hey, sorry, a demon didn't possess you to make you kill your family.
Maybe it will prove the demon.
Or maybe it will prove the demon. If you look at an X-ray and there's just a pentagram drawn in on your brain, then I guess. But so that was one of the things, was more of a psychological aspect of it, of the fact of, like, maybe even helping, like, solve some disorders, or kind of like help track, like, maybe early like onset amnesia or dementia or Alzheimer's, maybe be able to go, hey, this is kind of not looking right. We can track that you are going to eventually maybe get that. The other thing is, because I find the brain fascinating, but what I find most fascinating about the brain is what it does with dreams. I fucking love just facts about dreams. And I was thinking, if they can eventually do this, they can eventually also track dreams. And maybe we could finally get that dream to pop up on the screen. You could finally watch me hang out with Bloop Snoop Dogg. So exciting.
Watching your dreams, I don't know if I really want to do that.
Dude,
you
it
have
would
some weird damn dreams.
They are some weird damn dreams, but could you imagine being like a Twitch streamer and streaming your dreams onto,
or reacting to other people's dreams? That's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah. Like I think I would become very successful if people were able to watch my dreams, and they would be like, "Damn, Mike, that's really fucking cool." But how awesome would it be to go see, like, Spencer's dream about him and the velociraptor that chases him? How awesome would that be? Just him, just like hanging out by the poolside, and then all of a sudden, like a waitress walks in with a tray of an iced tea, sets it down, and he's like, or she's like, "Can I get you anything else?" He looks up, and it's just a velociraptor in a wig, and you're just like, "Oh no!" And he starts running. He may have already had that dream, but anyway, I just got super excited because science is cool. It's cool to see it go somewhere, and I am just pretty much just stoked. Because, I mean, even when they did the whole science report of them cloning like a lamb or a sheep or whatever, I'm like, yes, cloning. So, yeah, I'm excited. Gene splicing, am I right? So, and then my other thing that I wanted to talk about was on in the news recently, the CDC has lifted mask mandates. And they have kind of eased up on some of the guidelines for that. And it just makes me excited to see that we're going in the right direction of going back to normal.
See, and this is where we have different viewpoints, because you're like, "Oh, I'm so glad we're going back to normal," which, by the way, so am I, obviously. Let's be honest, I don't wear a mask. Like, unless I absolutely have to, like work, all right, I'm getting paid to wear a mask. That's fine. If I go anywhere else, no, it's not going on. Yeah. I don't really care.
Yeah, you flash your makeshift arts and crafts card saying that you're
I'm exempt,
it's a religious freedom.
It's my religious exempt. Yeah, that's it. That's me. I've already printed out my new vaccine card. I haven't. I look at it this opposite way, where, like the title of this one, here's the science that's convinced the CDC to lift mask mandates, and yet I laugh at all these idiots that are just like, "You must follow the science." This whole last year, you have to follow the science. You have to follow the science. As soon as the the science switches, they're like, nah, I'm not going to listen to the science. I'm going to continue to wear my mask so people don't think, A, I'm a Republican, or because I have an ugly face. Like, I don't know how many times I've read on Reddit, like, I want to because I feel insecure. Well, go die. I don't care. I don't want you in society anyways. Like,
my mouth is small. I'd rather wear a mask.
yeah, like, who cares? Oh, my God. Nobody pays attention that much anyways to you.
Or I only put makeup on the top half of my face, and I wear a mask for the rest.
But I love the people that are like contradicting themselves, that were just like, follow the science. And now they're like, no, I'm not going to follow the science anymore. I'm still going to do it. Like, shut up. You never cared once. It was all political this whole time. It makes me laugh.
And I just bypass everything he just says. I'm just saying I'm excited that like there are stores that like there was one that I was telling you about that Costco lifted it, but it said in some sections, and I was confused. I actually started reading the article, and it told me nothing else of these sections, and I don't know if they're sections of cities.
Yeah, no,
or
just
if
the
they're
meat section, and
if they're aisle sections,
yeah.
like, hey, you got to wear a mask when you go to like the dairy section, but once you leave the dairy section and you move on to the peanut section, you can lift off the mask
until you get back to clothes, and then you'll have to put it back on because, you know.
Yeah, so but like Walmart lifted theirs.
Target added themselves into that list.
Did they?
Yeah,
cool. I didn't see one. Now, what I'm curious is that also included with employees, or is it just with customers?
I would expect if they're lifting it, if the company's lifting it, I would think the employees. But I don't know because my employer hasn't done it yet. So I'm still waiting. They sent out like an internal email that's like, as per CDC guidelines, we're going to be like reevaluating.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, thank God, make this happen sooner than later.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
The reason I asked that is like I could see that they like they'll still say that employees have to wear it because they face more people on the day to day.
No, they don't. You worked in retail. How many retail associates honestly just avoid customers, and they're just like, 10-foot rule, I'll just step back a foot. Now they're 11 feet. Like, I don't have to, like, see, so many people will obviously not help customers unless like you're a cashier and you have to. There's so many people in retail that actively avoid customers.
You're right, but I was always trained there's always been a 5-foot rule wherever I worked. If there's a customer within 5 feet of you, you greet them, you help them out.
Excuse me, sir, that's supposed to be 10 feet, not 5 feet.
My second job, my boss at the time told me that he says screw the 5 foot if they're within 10 feet.
Yeah, that's supposed to be 10 feet.
Is it supposed to be 10 feet?
Then
maybe it's the whole store. Maybe he meant the whole store. It's you have to cover about 35 yards. So, but
football length is what you have to watch out for.
From goal line to goal line. Yeah. And so I'm just excited to see that, people are getting out there and vaccinating, and that is at least helping the cause of these lifts, if you will, other than what Brad sees of it, of now that the election is over and big bad Trump is out.
Hey, I never said that, all right? I said it's just flat out political, and you have literally tons of people right now that have explicitly said they're not going to put on, or they're not going to take off their mask because they don't want to be viewed as a Republican.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Even my grandma, who is the opposite of you, has said that too. And I think that's I think that's why she still wears masks.
Can I tell you of a story that I was just like, it was an employee that I work with, and a customer came up to her and said the creepiest thing, and I was like, see, this is a reason why it's good to have a mask, is just for like creepos like that. Like, I agree with his like initial statement, and I was like, but you took it too far there, buddy. You took it too far. So he walked up to her and he was like, hey, little girl, take off your mask. Like, number one, nope, don't say it. Nope. You crossed the line with the little girl comment, and then he's like, you don't need to have it on there anymore. And he just like stood there and like waited, and so she like dropped it down, and his wife was like, "Huh, not what I thought." And he was like, and then he says, "Oh, see, we the masks are good for some people, so you can't discern like the uggos in that." And then he walked away, and so she told me this later, and she's like, "So." One, he made me feel weird because he was like, "Hey, little girl," like complete creepo. And then did he call me Uggo? Like, I can't tell. And I'm like, see, this is a point where you just need to shut your mouth. Like, I agree with like the whole like just take off the mask, because I don't think we should have done it from really the get-go. But like that guy probably shouldn't just go shopping at all. Like, just stay home, all right?
Yeah, that is wrong on so many levels.
Yeah.
Like not only are you acting like a pedophile, but you also are acting like a misogynistic asshole who's
Right?
just like, "Oh, you're not pretty enough? Cool. Put on a bag."
Yeah.
Like, put a sack over your head. Like, good God, what an ass.
Especially since she's gorgeous.
Yeah, I don't know who you're talking about, but at work we don't hire uglies, so
I don't.
Wow, weird. We both sound like misogynistic assholes now. But yeah, what an ass. But we were talking. I feel like this pandemic absolutely did a few things of like, we just made another generation of
Germaphobes.
major germaphobes.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, working at Hastings, there was a customer who came in, and she would walk in with, because we did buybacks, she would walk in with DVDs and CDs or whatnot, and she would have gloves on. She would have them in a baggie. And before she touched the counter or anything, she asked whoever was doing the buybacks to go wash, or to wipe down the counter, go wash our hands, put on gloves, and then anything that like the whatever we were buying back, we also had to wipe down. Yeah. And like, I don't mind being accommodating, but again, it's one of those things that you've always said where it's like, if you're so worried about it, then why are you leaving your house? Now, sometimes it's a necessity to leave. Like I know for me, I started.
Except for your job that you were talking about and where I'm at, they're not necessities. Hastings was not a necessity.
How do you mean?
Nothing you bought at Hastings was a necessity.
Gotcha.
Like,
well,
going into
health.
that store,
we sold food. So
Pop Rocks and soda don't count.
No, we had a popcorn machine. It was delicious. It was awesome when we got to, if you worked with the right manager. Sorry, boss. If you worked with the right manager,
it doesn't matter. It's not around anymore.
We would clean out the popcorn machine with whatever was left, and we would put it in a little Hastings bag, and then we would just keep it to the side and just eat popcorn for the rest of the day. But anyway, Brad, goddamn you! I lost my train of thought. No, it wasn't. It was. It's coming back to me. Hold on. I don't mind doing that. I already said that. Accommodate. God damn you, Brad. Oh, that's what it was. So like, not necessarily during the pandemic that I started doing this. But when my brother got sick, I started doing this because I was driving his car around, and so I would go fill it up, gas pump and stuff. And I started thinking about it. That is probably one of the most used things ever.
That's never wiped down. Yeah.
And so I started doing this like one hand rule where I would pump the gas with one hand, everything I would touch with the right hand, keep the keys in my left pocket, open the door left-handed, and then I would grab hand sanitizer or a wipe and start wiping down my hand.
You know what's amazing? Throughout this whole thing, I have not changed a single routine. I don't wash my hands more. I don't, like, nothing. Yeah. Not a single thing. I actually use less hand sanitizer now. Not once have I like changed the way I deal with things, because I don't understand it. Like, we've had flus in the past.
Yeah.
I'm at a decent age. I'm easily going to live. And I know there's going to be people out there like, but you're going to kill grandma. I'm not going to go visit my grandma if I'm sick. All right. Like, I'm not going to kill her because I'm not going to go out there and randomly see people. If I'm sick, I stay home because that's the responsible thing to do so you can get better initially. I don't go out and start hugging random freaking elderly either. Like, I'm not going out to places where I'm going to get other people sick if I'm sick. But if I'm not sick, there's no point in me doing all these stupid restrictions. I don't get it.
So
but I never changed. Now, the only time I changed any of my behaviors was when I was helping you out last year.
Yep.
Because when I would go down to like garbage Utah and help you, I would wash my hands more. I would use hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
But that was for your brother, and because he was immunocompromised, it made complete sense to me. I'm going to do it because it's not for me, it's for them. But half this other stuff, it wasn't for them, especially when you look at the reasoning for the masks. The number one reason you're being told is so you don't spit on other people, which means it's I that has to be sick. It doesn't stop it, especially since this pandemic can go through your eyes, any porous section of your body. So,
hey, do you
want... like your nose, your ears, stuff like that. So I've never understood the craze of this. And it should have always been common sense. Yeah, if you go to the bathroom, wash your hands. But I don't need to wash my hands now every 30 seconds. Like, there's some people I know that do that. Yeah. They'll touch something, and then they go wash their hands.
Yeah. And I've been very appreciative of how you, like I'm sure as you're putting on a mask to, like, visit me and my family with how my brother was, or even when you had to wash your hands, you're just like, fucking, no, I look like a Democrat. Like,
yeah, that's honestly the only reason I didn't wash my hands. I'm like, I don't want to be a Democrat. You know?
People probably think I'm going to vote Biden and Harris. They probably look at me and go, oh, he's a Bernie fan. He feels the burn. He probably doesn't even do 20 seconds. He probably goes for a full minute. Really show how far left he is. Antifa, Antifa, Antifa. But yeah, like I haven't changed up my habits either, other than like I put on a mask because like going up to McCall, like they actually lifted their mask mandate recently, but my grandpa was telling me that McCall's mask mandate, like they actually like enforce it. And if you're not wearing one,
really?
Yeah, $100 fine is what he told me. Yep.
That's strange because usually your smaller towns don't enforce it.
Yeah, up there they apparently they were forcing it quite a bit.
They're all Democrats.
Biden. So yeah, I really never changed my stuff around. But then again, I've always been a clean person. I've actually noticed, and I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm very, I handle my drinks in a specific way, and like I have to do it for two reasons, right? Is there's oftentimes that I'm just like, is this my water bottle? Hence why like most of the time I take off the label so I know, hey, this one's mine. It has
unless you're around me because I don't drink water.
Right. But like for example, I was playing football with some buddies and I had my water bottle, which obviously has a specific logo I have. And then there was another water bottle that I know we've bought in at some point because I recognized the label, and it was set like a foot apart. And I was just like, and I saw one of my football buddies taking a drink, and I was like, I don't know which one he took a drink out of. I know this one's mine because I left it here and there's one there. And so I was just like, I don't know if this one's mine. And so I was like, I don't want to take a drink out of this. So instead, I just used it to put water on my head to cool myself down. Oh, how unprofessional, as mine has been going off.
Yeah.
For quite some time. But so
it's probably, the freaking estimate guy that was supposed to show up yesterday.
Yeah, bastard. But so like I brought 2 water bottles, and so I just used one to kind of cool myself down from the heat and playing football. But And then I just kind of like, I didn't hide my other one, but I put it back in the bag to make sure like, oh, no one brought a bag. Cool. So that's one of the things. But another thing I have to kind of like keep in mind is the fact of I only really drink water, and people tend to joke about how they're gonna spike or give me a drink with alcohol in it. And so oftentimes, no joke, there's oftentimes where before I take a drink, not necessarily out of a water bottle, but like if a glass was brought to me, I go and I sniff it first and then I drink. I know there was a time we were recording a podcast and I don't remember who it was, but I had a Gatorade and I went to the bathroom before we started a new podcast, came back, and I don't know why, but in my head I was like, they fucking poured alcohol in this. Those bastards. I had no proof. And so I just didn't touch that Gatorade from then on. but they're
Such a wuss.
so there's but I don't like have a fear of drinking someone else's thing. I just prefer not to. But there's also a horror story from one of the podcasts I listened to. This guy, he was out partying, and they had the keg. They had red Solo cups and stuff. And his best friend was a spitter. He chewed tobacco and spit it into a cup. Oh, this will for sure gross everyone out.
I know exactly where you're going with this.
And so he's drinking beer and he sets it down, and then he looks away, turns back around, grabs for his cup, and then drinks it. And then as he's drinking, he pulls away, and there's a strand of chewed tobacco. And he drank his buddy's chewed tobacco, thinking it was his beer. And so from then on, he just straight up is just like, if I set my drink down and I don't know which one it is, I just get a new drink. I don't care. I don't care if it was a full glass and I didn't even touch it. I will grab a new drink because no, thank you.
Well, at that point, yes. That's one of those like, oh, nope.
Yeah, Vietnam flashback kind of thing. So.
But no, I am happy that we are starting to lift this shit. I didn't agree with it in the first place, but it is good to see a lot of places going back to normal.
Yeah, you at least conformed enough.
If I had to.
If you had to, you were, washing hands equals Biden, licking boots equals Trump, right? Something like that. If you ask my grandma.
Yeah, if you ask your grandma.
So, we'll move on.
Yes. I just want to show this picture because looks cool.
It does look cool, but
it's a bad situation.
It's
flat out. Let's put it out there. We hope everybody's safe. We hope there's not too many casualties on either side, but it's a cool looking picture.
It is the kind of picture that like Michael Bay jizzes over.
Michael Bay wishes he could make this picture.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, we won't get into the whole like.
Yeah, we're not going to go into the whole thing. We are not educated enough on either side of this to put out our opinion.
Yeah, we're not picking sides.
This is more.
Go
Marvel,
Lakers.
Yeah, this is more of a marvel of the technology.
No joke. This is actually not a Palestinian versus.
Well, no, this is just Michael Bay.
No, this is after the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl last time.
Oh, really? I thought it was a Cubs game.
Yeah, we had one. So, no, these were actually the. Never mind.
The Black Lives Matter movement.
I was gonna say this is what happened in Washington,
January 6th. The true shot of the insurrection.
But so basically, it's Palestinians with their long war against
Israel.
I didn't want to just go
right
the
now.
Jews.
This is the Gaza. There's the new Gaza conflict that has started. Thanks, Biden.
Thanks, George Washington. And so what this picture shows is which side has the Iron Dome?
Oh, I don't know if it's going to show the one with our faces underneath, because I don't know if it reverses when you watch it is the one with the logo with the AFP. That's Israel. That's the Iron Dome.
Okay, so the ones of the missiles going fucking crazy right above our heads, that's the Iron Dome. That's
the intercepting shots.
That's Israel, right? And basically, what's happening is they came up with this concept back in 2011. I remember learning about this in school, but it basically has essentially like a force field kind of thing, but it's
yeah,
not
but no,
like
it's radar.
yeah, it's
what
not
it
like
is.
it impacts the force field and it blows up. It's just like
It's like dome shaped, but it's radar. So once
Yeah.
something passes through that dome like area that the radar is encompassing,
yeah.
then the missiles, the batteries kick in and they intercept. And it's got a huge rate of return for like success rate.
Yeah, it's a very successful system and it's a very cool system. And so on the missiles going straight are new missiles coming in, while the ones going all crazy are those missiles got shot up to intercept missiles that were fired beforehand.
Yeah.
And so what they're doing is missiles coming in, and then a missile from the Iron Dome is coming up, and it's gonna intersect. It's kind of like Space Invaders in a way, or no, sorry, that's not right. It's the asteroid game where you have cities to protect, and you gotta shoot the asteroids or the missiles beforehand. And so that's essentially what it's doing, is intersecting at a point, blowing the missiles up, and it has a pretty decent success rate. I don't know the success rate, but it's an interesting concept, and we actually have a picture of this. Is from an article in 2012,
which was a year after it was started to be implemented.
Yeah, which is just showing how the Iron Dome works. As you can see, there's a short-range rocket.
And I guess that is the key thing. It's not really meant for missiles. It's meant for rockets.
Yeah.
The one thing with this conflict is that can be said is because we are allies with Israel, they have a bit higher of a technology, so they're using missiles. The other side generally has a lower technology, so they're generally using rockets.
Yeah.
So they are slower, and it does allow for interception easier within the Iron Dome.
I was about to say,
because it's generally missiles versus rockets, not missile versus missile.
I'm trying to think, what's the difference between a rocket and a missile? Isn't a missile is just it's able to guide itself?
I think it's guided in speed.
And
I think it's also speed.
So like a RPG is a rocket.
Yeah.
Because it's just point and shoot.
Pretty much.
Okay. So anyway, so a short range rocket comes in, and then once it passes this dome, you could see that there's a radar detection unit at the one spot, sees that it's coming in, it passes through, and then a battle management and control is just
basically it designates
operation.
Yeah, it designates which battery will intercept.
Yeah.
Which one's going to be closer, which one's going to be more available to actually hit the target, and then it sends that signal to the unit, the firing unit, and then that one will launch the counteroffensive.
Yeah, and this one shows that it's going straight up and hitting it.
It's never usually straight up.
But that's just because of the trajectory of the rocket. So, but yeah, this is the Iron Dome, and Brad and I were just talking of how cool and innovative it is. It sucks that it has to be implemented.
Yeah, it sucks that it's even being used, anything like that. Like we said, we're not getting into the conflict on either side. I mean, I have my viewpoint. I'm sure you have your own, but we're not going to get into that. We want to just talk about just the marvel of this literal system.
Yeah.
It's a pretty awesome system. The Iron Dome itself is.
Yeah, we're not choosing sides. Go Maple Leafs.
How dare you, sir?
But yeah,
It's always the Sharks.
listen, I'm more of a Harry and Meghan fan personally. So, is that even the right brother? I don't even know. I think so. Anyway, so yeah, that's just what we wanted to show was kind of educate people on how the Iron Dome works, because it's a fascinating thing.
It's all over the news right now, though. With this conflict,
it's very current. It really reminds me. I don't know if you ever watched the show, but did you ever watch the show? It's called Future Weapons,
No.
where it showcased new advanced weapons. And so one of the weapons that it had a R. Lee Emery on it, you know, the guy from Full Metal Jacket.
Okay. Yeah.
He was the host of it.
Nice.
Well, actually, he may have not been.
Anyways, move on.
Anyways, and so they just showed cool new technology of weapons, and one of them was from Wanted. You know, the gun that turns sideways so you could shoot around corners with the camera. That was actually one of the things on the episode.
Yeah.
And like
It's also showcased on CSI Miami, by the way.
yeah, you have a real hard on for CSI Miami.
Dude, friggin' love Horatio Kane.
I did not know you liked CSI Miami. I don't know how often I do this in front of you where
Right there.
holy shit, yeah. You know what? I've seen that so many times. It's between Gilmore Girls and Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a weird
Makes
placement.
perfect sense.
Yeah. Oh, someone's here. So we'll just end the episode. Goodbye.